I am very excited with the launch of our new Facts and Figures initiative. For the first time, the Society will have a resource that chronicles the incidence and prevalence data for all of the endocrine system and endocrine-related diseases.
Facts and Figures is a very important program for the Endocrine Society. This again is a new program that we have not gotten into before.
The Facts and Figures program was established by the Endocrine Society to accomplish a number of goals and fill gaps in our understanding of the epidemiology and importance of a number of endocrine disorders.
This will provide a lot of basic information about normal states and disease states that can be very useful in informing the research that the basic scientist does.
One of the really key things is they understand what the important questions are. And in this report, we find lots of information.
The Endocrine Facts and Figures is going to be the most authoritative, up-to-date document of the state of endocrine disorders today, from the most authoritative source in endocrinology, the Endocrine Society.
The first chapter in the Endocrine and Figures series is on obesity and the metabolic syndrome. Dr. George Bray and I edited this chapter and put it together.
The adrenal chapter in Facts and Figures is going to be a unique repository of incidence, prevalence, demographics, epidemiology, diagnosis, treatment. It's going to be a unique resource for all clinicians.
We are going to cover all the very, very important aspects of metabolic bone disease. What is the most important metabolic bone disease? It clearly is osteoporosis.
Our chapter on Endo Facts and Figures is on endocrine cancers and neoplasias. It covers all the endocrine cancers. These are rare tumors. These are not frequent lesions.
The chapter on cardiovascular disease and lipids really brings us up to date in terms of the recently published cholesterol guideline by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association, in addition to the assessment and management of hypertriglyceridemia and to some extent low levels of HDL cholesterol.
This Endocrine Facts and Figures chapter deals with and addresses type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and some very important subtypes such as diabetes in pregnancy, and we do address the monogenic forms of diabetes as well.
In our chapter, we will highlight those pituitary disorders that impact public health. For example, there is a section on traumatic brain injury, which can cause hypopituitarism in 20% of cases. This is a public health issue because traumatic brain injury is unfortunately common. It can be seen with motor vehicle accidents, crime, and more.
Facts and Figures is going to be centered on hypogonadism. So when reproductive hormones are not made sufficiently, and the two big areas here really are menopause and male reproduction.
The Facts and Figures chapter that I worked on is the one on thyroid disease. It covered all thyroid diseases apart from thyroid cancer, which was a separate section of the volume. And we covered a number of important and very common diseases, including hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, goiter, thyroid enlargement, and thyroid nodules. And we also covered iodine deficiency disorders and thyroiditis.
So the disparities in endocrine care across the world is a critical issue.
So I think regardless of whether you're a basic scientist, a clinical scientist, or a clinician, Endo Facts and Figures is going to be helpful for everyone.
It doesn't matter if you're an endocrinologist, a general internist, a public health official, a basic scientist, or researcher of any kind. This will bring together for you a detailed list of all the disorders in the endocrine field, and will also provide a set of references for you so that you can look into this deeper.
The Endocrine Facts and Figures brochure and chapters brings together a wealth of information about the diseases that we treat, to identify the gaps, and also to help us to identify which areas require more of our attention for treatment.
The Endocrine Facts and Figures will be your most authoritative source on information about endocrine disorders today.